And we are back with another episode on the Grade A Flicks channel as I, Grade A Fantasy, will preview for the Week 5 main slate on FanDuel my top plays for the running back position. Let's get right into it. We're going to start with the guy featured on the video. The only reason why I don't think he's closer to like 10,000, I thought he'd at least be minimum 96, 97, minimum. I think the only reason why is because FanDuel already had the slate up and he was the Sunday night game, and I think they already had it programmed in, but they did not see that 200. They did not see that 200-yard outburst. So Derrick Henry for his matchup against a team that can be run on in Cincinnati, he is definitely underpriced, at least by minimum $800. Definitely, most likely, still even expensive he is. Top play should go to ownership. Jordan Mason has another nice matchup as he continues to lead the San Francisco backfield. 8,700, 500, cheaper than Henry, going against Arizona. Now, let's get to a big piece of news here. So, not only did Indy lose to a hip injury, Anthony Richardson, but Jonathan Taylor also got hurt in this game. In this game, what they consider a mild high ankle sprain. So, that means, from what they're saying on the news, Jonathan Taylor, they don't see the significance on putting him on the IR. The injury is that significant to at least think about it, but if they don't think they need to put him on the IR, most likely they're expecting to only maybe miss Jonathan Taylor for 1 to 2 weeks. Because remember, if you're on the IR, you have to miss 4. So, next in line, and as it seemed the way that game went, the person who got the rest of the cash for the rest of the day was Trey Sherman. There's our budget for the week, $5,900. And at 5,900, he does have a good matchup. Now, when against Jacksonville, one of the worst run defense. I understand the stats say what it says, but people have been passing so much that they do get gashed up on the run. I think there are lower teens, definitely closer to 20 ranked defense matchup. Now, yes, Trey Sermon is not Jonathan Taylor, but for 5,900 with a semi-soft matchup, I really think Trey Sherman has the opportunity to pay off his price. Other than that, when you look at the rest of the running backs, it's Goodson. Evan Hull's been on the team for a bit, but Trey Sherman should be at least the first and second down back. Evan Hull has been on the team for a bit, so they'll probably bring him up from the practice squad. I remember Evan Hull from last year. He got some carries. And then I think Tyler Goodson last week got 1. But to lead the backfield, when he got hurt, Trey Sherman got pretty much the majority of the carries, which was what, I think 6? 5 for 8. Now, of course, going against Pittsburgh is not easy, but it's definitely a better matchup going against Jacksonville. I think he's definitely worth a look. Let's get this filter out of here. Kyron Williams has a great matchup with a gashable defense in Green Bay. That is to me, that's a slightly underrated game. I think people should be paying attention to this more. Kyron Williams has a great matchup there. Obviously, still being the workhorse that he is with all the injuries that they got. Kyron Williams, for his price, the volume, it all works out. As we keep scrolling down, Brian Robinson, I kind of like the play. Like I said, we got to see if Eckler comes back to take away some of the volume. It is a good matchup against Cleveland, plus the workhorse that he is and a 3-down capability. I definitely like once we get into the 7 range. I have a battle. To me, it's a coin flip of who you like better in the 7 range. I understand there's a few guys here, James Conner, the possibility of Joe Mixon. Well, he's not 7, he's 8. But literally, it comes down to these 3 guys all back-to-back. Kenneth Walker, explosive running against a very weak Giants front 7 at home. Travis Etienne Jr. This will definitely be a bounce back game against a very suspect Indianapolis defense. I can see anybody. If you can't pay up for Josh Jacobs, I can definitely see people trying to make it work with these three as their main running backs, 2 and 1 in the flex. Josh Jacobs has a great matchup with the volume that he gets. Now, he's not getting the value as the one thing you have to note with Josh Jacobs is not getting the value as if when Jordan Love was hurt. As you can see, those carries went way down real fast. You're not going to get 15 carries, even though he did get 6 targets. You're not getting 15 carries when your quarterback throws 50 sometimes. That injury is still there. The MCL was supposed to be looked at a month to a month and a half. He has good mobility now, but I think they know that they need to at least give Josh Jacobs at least somewhere in the minimal. Besides getting targets, they got to give him at least, into the 15-16 range, at least, to balance that offense out. But Green Bay in unison, Love and Jacobs, are in a good match against a weak Los Angeles Rams defense. Might not like this play, but I definitely do because of what the offense is and what the volume is going to be. This is another volume play. Ramondre Stevenson, he's pretty much the key offense on a very horrible Patriots team. This against Miami, you can't run against their front seven, and they're at home, so no need to worry about him getting tired of being drained by some southern Florida heat, humidity. No, Ramondre Stevenson, they're bringing Miami into, well, we are in October, so very cool, maybe dreary, who knows, there might even be some weather coming up that weekend. Ramondre Stevenson against Miami is definitely a nice pick and at a nice price at 67. And as we keep going down here, when it comes to my top plays, there are people below these guys, but I think I'll stop here. 64 and 6,300. Like I said, I already talked about Trey Sermon at 59. DeAndre Swift finally made his appearance this 2024 season last week. Has another good matchup against a very, very gettable front seven in Carolina. After basically looking like he was probably going to get benched for Roschon Johnson, and Roschon did get some burn, finally showed some production against the front seven of the Rams. 16 for 93 with a touchdown. Caleb also dumped to him 7 for 7 times for 72 yards. Almost got up to 30. He has that same opportunity to do that against Carolina. And then I like Jerome Ford against Washington. Like I said, Washington as a team is playing hot, but Jerome Ford with the volume, and like I said, that Washington defense is still nothing to be scared of. He is getting the most looks and the most work out of the backfield, running and catching. As you can see, it's been pretty consistent catching wise, except for week 2. But other than that, 7 targets, 4 targets, got 7 targets last week, and at minimum getting 10 in the range of 12 carries. If the drops of Amari Cooper continues, and maybe to help out Watson, this seems to be the game that you would think Watson, and as I mentioned in the previous video, would be able to attack that bad Commanders secondary. I hope I didn't say Redskins before, but if I did, I apologize. That bad Commanders secondary, I think to help out also to run against this bad front seven, Jerome Ford, those 10 rush attempts with those 7 targets, you might need to drop those to maybe 5 to 4 targets, but also give him at least 5 to 7 more touches just to help out Deshaun Watson. But if there's anything to get right about the Cleveland offense before Nick Chubb possibly comes back, then yeah, it's playing the Washington defense. Yes, they had a good game against Arizona, but still, it's something doable DFS-wise for Jerome Ford. But that is the end of my top plays preview. Once again, I mean, you have all these other options. Hey, if Seattle does drop the Giants, hey, Zach Charbonnet could probably get some garbage time. Like I said, you got to look out for some of these guys too. But yeah, Trey Sermon is the key value. I will be taking some hints at him because, like I said, it is a juicy matchup against the Jacksonville defense. So that is my preview of what I feel are my top plays for week 5 of the main slate. Hope you all enjoyed the vid. I'll also link the QB video in the description. This is Grade A Fantasy, signing off.